Have you ever had one of those days where things just don't go according to plan? Well, imagine your plan is just to refuel a helicopter and suddenly you're the only one who can fly it. That's exactly what happened to Danielle, and her story is nothing short of incredible. Danielle was a ground crew member at a remote helicopter tour base. Her job was straightforward: assist with takeoffs, landings, and most importantly, refueling. She was around helicopters all day, but she wasn't a pilot. She knew the basics, just enough to be dangerous, as they say. One afternoon, she was refueling a Robinson R-44 helicopter while the pilot, Dave, was grabbing a quick coffee. They were in a beautiful but isolated location, miles from the nearest town. Suddenly, Dave cried out. He'd slipped on a patch of wet ground and had taken a nasty fall. It was immediately clear he was in a lot of pain and couldn't move his leg. He was injured, they were alone, and the sun was starting to set. There was no cell service. Panic started to creep in, but Danielle knew she had to keep a level head. Dave, despite his pain, looked at her and then at the helicopter. He knew what she had to do. "You're going to have to fly us out of here," he said, his voice strained. Danielle's heart hammered against her ribs. Fly? Her? She'd only ever had a few casual lessons, never a solo flight, and certainly never a real emergency. But looking at Dave's pained face and the darkening sky, she knew there was no other choice. It was fly or be stranded, with Dave's injury getting worse. Taking a deep, shaky breath, she nodded. "Okay. Talk me through it." Carefully, they got Dave into the passenger seat. Danielle climbed into the pilot's seat, her hands trembling as she gripped the controls. The cockpit, once a familiar sight from the outside, now felt like the command center of a spaceship. Dave, fighting through his pain, began to give her instructions, his voice calm and steady. "All right, Danielle. Pre-flight check. We do this every day. You know the list." She went through the checklist, her mind racing but her hands moving with a newfound purpose. Fuel check, switches check, rotors clear. Each step was a small victory against the wave of fear. Then came the moment of truth. "Slowly, bring up the collective," Dave coached. The helicopter vibrated, the rotors whirring to life, creating a deafening roar that matched the sound in her ears. With a gentle lift on the collective, the skids lifted off the ground. They were airborne. She was flying. The initial terror began to fade, replaced by intense concentration. She wasn't just a ground crew member anymore. She was a pilot. Every gust of wind, every slight movement of the controls was a new challenge. Dave continued to guide her, calling out airspeed, altitude, and course corrections. "Easy on the pedals. Keep your eyes on the horizon. You're doing great." Flying over the rugged landscape, Danielle felt a strange sense of calm. She was in control. The miles passed, and soon the familiar lights of the main airfield appeared like a beacon of hope. Now, for the hardest part, landing. Her heart rate spiked again. Landing a helicopter is a delicate dance, and she'd only ever practiced it in theory. "We're not aiming for a perfect landing, just a safe one," Dave reassured her. "I'll talk you through every single step." She approached the landing pad, her hands slick with sweat. She followed Dave's instructions to the letter, reducing power, managing the descent, and keeping the aircraft stable. With a final, gentle bump, the skids touched down. They were safe. The engine spooled down, and in the sudden silence, the only sound was their ragged breathing. Danielle had done it. The ground crew rushed out, shocked to see her in the pilot's seat. Within minutes, medics were attending to Dave. As they took him away, he gave Danielle a weak but grateful smile. "You're a natural," he said. Danielle just sat there for a moment, the adrenaline slowly leaving her body. She was just the girl who refueled the helicopter. But on that day, she became a hero. Danielle's story is an incredible reminder of the hidden strength we all have inside us. When faced with an impossible situation, she didn't freeze. She listened, she trusted herself, and she flew. What an absolutely amazing story of courage and quick thinking. If you were inspired by Danielle's journey, please hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.